Welcome back, friends. Today I'm going to show you how to make the most delicious cinnamon rolls you have ever tasted. Here I have all our ingredients ready to go. Let's get started. First thing we need to do is we take half a cup of milk and warm it up for about 20 seconds in the microwave, just so it's nice and warm. We don't want it too hot. And we're going to take a package of fast acting dry yeast. We're going to pour it into the milk. We're going to mix it until it's all dissolved. We're also going to add a tablespoon of sugar. We're going to mix it. And once it's all dissolved, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of flour. And we're going to mix it again until all the flour is dissolved into the liquid. You might want to rub against the sides to get all the flour broken down. Just like that. Once it's all dissolved, and it should look like this, we're gonna cover it and we're gonna store it in a warm, dry place for about 10 to 15 minutes or until it's double in size. You can cover it with plastic, a cloth. I'm gonna use a piece of aluminum paper, and then we're gonna set it aside and we'll check back on it in 10 minutes. And while that is taking place, I'm gonna melt my butter in the microwave and let it cool down for a little bit. I'm also gonna take my cinnamon sticks and grate them to use in our batter. I like to use fresh cinnamon because it gives it a much better taste. Now I'm going to take the cinnamon I grated and put it through a small colander and sift out the cinnamon and leave out the bigger pieces. That way we can have just the powder for our dough. Just like that. And now it's ready for the dough. Now we're going to take our flour, add in the remainder of the sugar, a teaspoon of salt, and of course our grated cinnamon. Now we're going to mix it all up, mix it all well so it's all mixed together. Now we're going to go to the next step. Here we have our melted butter, which is all cooled down and ready. Now let's check our yeast, and it looks like it's ready. It has doubled in size. Now that our yeast is ready, we're going to make a little crater in the middle of the flour. Then we're going to pour in our yeast. Pouring it all in there, scraping the sides to get it all in there. Then we're going to pour in our vanilla, our butter, and 2 eggs. Now that we have all our wet ingredients in there, we're going to mix it all up. I'm going to use my spatula, but you can use a mixture, which would probably make it a lot faster. I'm going to mix as much as I can in there, and once it gets to a certain point, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of water to the mixture. Then I'm going to continue mixing with the spatula, trying to get all the flour from the edges of the bowl. And mix it a little bit more. You know, when you get to a certain point, it's going to get be too hard to continue with the spatula. So I'm going to remove the spatula and continue kneading it by hand. Make sure your hands are nice and clean anytime you handle food. So now I'm going to knead it for about 10 more minutes. Now I'm going to transfer my dough onto a flat, clean surface and continue kneading it for about 15 more minutes, or until the dough is nice and soft and springy. When you know the dough is done, you'll be able to press your fingers in the middle of the dough and the dough will spring right back up, just like that. Now I'm going to take a little bit of vegetable oil and rub it inside my bowl. Rub it all around in there. Now I'm also going to take a little bit in my hand and then rub it on the outer part of the dough. Make sure you get it all over, just like that. Then I'm going to take my ball of dough and place it in the middle of the glass bowl. Then I'm going to cover it and let it sit for about 2 to 3 hours or until it's doubled in size. For our sugar mixture, we're going to add 3 tablespoons of white sugar to a small bowl and 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of ground cinnamon. Then we're going to mix them all up. Make sure they're all evenly mixed. If you have any big pieces in there, you can always use your hand and break them down. But once we're done with it, it should look similar to this. Now that it's ready, we're ready to go check on our dough. Looks like our dough is now doubled in size and now it's ready to be worked on. Now we're going to take it out of the bowl and place it on a nice clean floured surface. I'm going to flour both sides of the dough, flipping it over and flouring the other side just slightly, just enough so it doesn't stick to the counter when we're rolling it out. Once I have both sides floured, I'm going to take my rolling pin and I'm going to roll it out to our desired size, and it should look similar to this. Now I'm going to take spreadable butter and spread it all over on the entire surface. You can use any type of butter. I'm using Country Crock. Now that the butter is spread, I'm going to spread the sugar mixture that we made earlier and try to cover the entire portion. Try to get it as evenly as you can. Now I'm going to start to roll it, and I'm going to try to roll it out as evenly as you can when you're rolling it out. Now once it's done, now we're ready to cut. Now I'm going to slice them into even pieces, just like that. Now we're going to place them into an ungreased baking pan. We're going to leave a little bit of space in between them, not too much. And once they're all set in there, we're going to cover it and let it sit for about an hour. It's been about an hour now, so now we're going to check on our cinnamon rolls. And it looks like they did expand. They look beautiful. So now we're ready to bake them. We're going to bake them at 350 degrees for about 20-25 minutes. While our rolls are baking, we're going to make our cream cheese topping. We're going to need 8 ounces of cream cheese, a tablespoon of vanilla. Make sure the cream cheese is at room temperature so it's easier to mix. Now we're going to add our confectioner sugar. We're going to add a total of 2 cups, but I'm going to add 1 cup at a time. Now we're going to mix it, and once it's mixed, we're going to add the remainder of the sugar and mix it again, and we should end up with a nice, fluffy, creamy, sweet frosting just like this. Now that the cinnamon rolls are out of the oven and cooled off, I'm going to take our cream cheese frosting and spread it over the entire surface of the cinnamon buns. I'm going to try to get it as even as I can. These cinnamon rolls turn out so soft and delicious. My kids can't wait to get their little hands on them. Now they're ready to be served and enjoyed. If you like this recipe and want to see more recipes, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching.